All right, welcome to The Explainer. The crypto market is definitely on the move, and we're here to break it all down for you. This is what you need to know for November 28th, 2025. So let's just jump right in.
Okay, first up, our 30-second snapshot. These are the headlines you absolutely cannot miss. We've got three numbers that are basically telling the whole story of the market today.
First up, Bitcoin. It is back, and I mean back with a vengeance. It just smashed right past that critical $91,000 resistance level. That's a huge psychological barrier, and seeing it break like this, it could be signaling a really big shift in how everyone's feeling.
Next number, $628 million. Wow, that is the massive, staggering total for the new XRP ETFs. These things are like stocks that track crypto. And a number this big, it just shows a flood of big, institutional money is pouring into alts. And finally, 85%. This is the number that's really driving all the good feelings right now. The market is basically saying there's an 85% chance the Fed is going to cut interest rates. That is a huge jump, and it's like pouring rocket fuel on this recovery.
All right, so let's dig into that a little deeper. We're going to start with the market leader, Bitcoin, and really unpack what that huge 85% number actually means.
So, the king of crypto is looking really strong. What's happening is we're seeing money literally flow out of the traditional stock market and right back into Bitcoin. This is what we call a classic risk-on signal. It means investors are feeling confident, they're willing to chase higher growth, and for crypto, that is a very, very bullish sign.
But why? What's really behind this sudden burst of confidence? Well, the answer isn't just a crypto story. It's actually about what people are expecting for the entire global economy. And this chart right here really puts it into perspective. I mean, look at this. Just last week, the market was only pricing in a 60% chance of a rate cut. Today, that's leaped all the way to 85%. And when investors think money is about to get cheaper because of rate cuts, high-growth stuff like Bitcoin suddenly looks way, way more attractive.
Now, this wave of good news triggered something we call a short cover, or you might know it as a short squeeze. Basically, all the traders who were betting the price would drop suddenly got scared and were forced to buy back in. And all that buying just adds more fuel to the fire, pushing the price up even faster.
Okay, so that's Bitcoin. But now let's shift gears and look at the altcoin space, because there is a fascinating battle heating up for that big institutional money. The fight is definitely on.
Look, Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're always going to be the titans, right? But it really seems like the smart money, the sophisticated investors, are starting to look for the next big thing. And we're seeing this play out in real time, right in the super competitive ETF market.
And what's so interesting is that the two main contenders here could not be more different. You've got XRP on one side, kind of the established player, with deep roots in traditional finance. And then on the other side, you have Solana, the scrappy, high-growth challenger, known for its insane speed and its huge ecosystem of developers.
Okay, so this data tells a really interesting story. If you just look at the surface, yeah, Solana's winning the day, up a nice 3.6%. But the metric that really tells you what's going on is the money flow. XRP's ETF saw a whopping 80 million tokens flow in. That is a hard, cold number that shows you exactly where the big investors are placing their bets.
So what's the bottom line here? Both of these are hot, for sure, but the hard data, the stuff coming from these institutional products, it really suggests that XRP has the edge right now in this ETF momentum game. It seems like the big money is making its choice pretty clear, at least for today. And that really brings up a key question for you, for anyone investing in this space. What's your play? Are you betting on the established player, the one that's a bridge to traditional finance? Or are you betting on the disruptive, cutting-edge tech of the future? Let us know what you think.
All right, let's pull back a bit from that ETF battle and take a look at the broader market pulse, because it's not all green candles out there today.
Yeah, it's a real mixed bag. You've got some clear winners, coins that are just riding this wave of optimism. But then you have others that are kind of lagging behind, still trying to find their footing. It shows there's still a little bit of caution out there.
So first, let's talk Ethereum. It is looking really, really strong. In fact, it's actually outpacing Bitcoin today. And what's so significant about that is that it's happening even with some recent outflows from its ETF. That suggests us a really stable, really dedicated base of people who just want to hold ETH no matter what.
Now, let's head over to the meme coin sector. Dogecoin is definitely the one to watch. We're seeing some pretty bullish price forecasts floating around. But as a whole category, meme coins are still kind of playing catch-up. They haven't quite jumped into this recovery party with both feet just yet.
And finally, there's Toncoin. It's really lagging behind in this rebound. The low trading volume, the kind of hesitant price action, it just tells us that not everyone, not every corner of the market is feeling super bullish right now. It seems like Toncoin investors are on the sidelines, waiting for a clearer signal.
Okay, so what does all this mean for you? We just threw a ton of information at you, so let's boil it all down to the key takeaways, the signals you really need to be watching.
So here are the 3 big things to track. First, the macro view. That Fed optimism is the rising tide lifting pretty much all boats right now. Second, on the micro level, you have to watch those ETF inflows like a hawk. They are a huge driver of price action now. And third, the narrative is shifting. The smart money is clearly starting to look beyond just Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Look, if you take away just one single thing from this briefing today, let it be this. The game is changing. That flow of big institutional money through products like ETFs, it isn't a side story anymore. It's becoming the main event. It's what's going to dictate where this market heads next.
So, we'll leave you with this question to think about for your own strategy. Is this steady flow of institutional money the real key? Is this what's finally going to unlock the next big bull run? Let that one sink in. Thanks for joining us here on The Explainer.